production and employment. What is production and what is employment? Is there any relation between production and employment? This today we will discuss. So here we know that people are engaged in different activities to earn income, which is their livelihood. Some are working like teachers, like us, and some are doing the daily wages work. Some works in industries, some are doing cultivation, some are doing tailoring, and some are giving the work of providing services, that is transportation, like auto wala, bus services, taxis. So all these are different activities, livelihood activities. There are number of livelihood activities in which people engaged. So all these activities are categorized into three sectors. How many sectors? Three sectors. Instead, three sectors. What are those three sectors? Here it is, these three sectors. Some of the activities of livelihood comes under agriculture sector, and some other activities comes under industrial sector. Remaining we find in a service sector. So all the different activities of livelihood classified into three sectors. We call them three sectors of economy. Agriculture sector, which is also called a primary sector. What that? Primary. Industrial sector, also called secondary. Secondary sector. Service sector, also known as tertiary sector. Which sector? Tertiary sector. So here in these three sectors, service sector is different from agriculture sector and industrial sector. In agriculture sector and industrial sector, we find production of goods, whereas in service sector we see some services required for producing the goods in agriculture sector and industrial sector. So all the economic activities are classified into three sectors. Instead, here you can find some of the activities of livelihood. Here we see some are doing agriculture. This is one livelihood. And some are working in industries. Okay, that is industrial sector. And the rest of the two we see here, service sector. It is a service sector. Understand? So people engage in different activities. Here one person is selling the fruits. He is not producing the food of fruits. He is making the fruits available to the people. That is a kind of a service. For that service, he charges certain amount, right? So it comes under service activity. So that service activities are different from the agriculture sector and industrial sector, right? So anyway, we have three sectors in economy: agriculture sector, industrial sector, service sector. Okay, so what are the activities in these three sectors? Okay, what are the activities of livelihood comes under agriculture sector? Agriculture is a sector in which we find activities relating to fishing, forestry, mining, and cultivation. Okay, that what we call primary sector. There we find fishing, forestry, mining. Okay, and some related to agriculture will come under agriculture sector, which is primary sector, where we see nature is dominant in production of goods. See, crops are cultivated. So what is very important for cultivation of crops? Soil. Soil must be fertile. Which one? Soil. Okay, if soil is not fertile, it's big difficulty. So what makes soil to be fertile? It is by the nature. So nature's role is a big one, that is dominant role in the production process. If you take fishing, that is catching fish. Okay, are we producing fish? No, they are by the nature. Okay, so it is nature's dominant role. Okay, mining activity. There are example gold mines, coal mines. Are we producing coal? Are we producing gold? No, which is produced by the nature, and that we are extracting from the mines, from the earth, right? So where the nature's role is dominant in the process of production, that all activities we find in primary sector, that is agriculture sector. So it is agriculture sector where the nature's role is very big. Okay, in which one? In the process of production, right or not? The next, agriculture activity. This is what cultivation of crops, right? They are what to call working in agriculture sector, right? This is one activity where nature role is very important. So it is agriculture sector. Fishing is there, mining is there. Look at these slides. Okay, catching fish. Okay, they are not producing the fish, fishermen catching the fish, right? So which are a part of the nature, that is that is caught up by the fishermen. So it is primary activity, that is agriculture activity. Instead, mining, what are they, what does they do here? They extract minerals from the earth, which are produced by the nature itself. So nature's role is dominant in the process of production. Okay, that is wherever the nature's role is dominant, that is agriculture sector, or what we call primary sector. Okay, here what do you see? They are what to call plucking some fruits. Okay, what that coffee nuts, coffee seeds instead. So it is nature's role in the production of coffee seeds. So it comes under agriculture sector. That means forestry in the sense the products coming from the forest. Okay, whatever we get from the forest, that is primary sector. Understand? It may be leaves, understand? It may be fruits, then the wood which we use it to make furniture. Understand? All that is what a primary sector. Next, the secondary sector, what we call industrial sector. Then how can we differentiate industrial sector from agriculture sector, right? Industrial sector is one sector where we find using the machines and tools, okay, in the process of producing the goods where tools and machines are used, that is industrial sector. Understand? So where machines, tools are used, that sector what we have to call industrial sector. Let us see that what are those, some of given here. Understand? Look at here. Here we see machines are used producing the goods. Okay, textile industries where textiles are produced by using the power looms, right? And automobile industry, okay, that is production of tractors, cars, buses, huh? So where the tools and machines are used, all those comes under which one? Industrial sector. Okay, the next is third, which is different from the agriculture and industrial sector, that is service sector. These are the activities where we do not see production of any good. Okay, then what do we see here? In service sector we see some kind of services required for producing the goods. Okay, for producing the goods. For example, what do we see here? In agriculture sector, crops are cultivated. Okay, paddy, wheat, sugarcane, like this. So all these have to be taken to the market, right? That means we need transport facility. What we need? Transport facility instead. So without transport facility, we cannot see these are available at a market instead. So transport facility is helping the agriculture sector to reach the crops cultivated to the market instead. So transport system is one service sector instead. Telecommunication is there. In telecommunication we see any kind of good is not produced. Okay, we are using the mobile phones to communicate one to another. So telecommunication service or telecom department, telecom sector, okay, it what to call gives a service in connecting our neighbors. So there is no production of good, it is helping to us, okay, to make our work completed one. Understand? So it is a service sector. Understand? Suppose you want to reach to the bus stand uh, to catch a bus, then we pick up one auto, it is service sector. A fisher man is there to sell fish in the market, he need transport facility. Understand? Banking sector is there. Do they produce currency? No. They provide that money for the people who need of money, right? One farmer is there, for example, one farmer is there who want to produce the crops, and he want to buy the seeds, he want to take a tractor on rent. For all these things he need money, okay, and that is not there with him. Then what he will do? He will approach the bank to take what you call credit, instead that is loan or not. So banks are helping the many of the people who are engaged in production activity. So service sector is different from the agriculture and industrial sector. Understand? In agriculture and industries we find production of the goods, but in services, that is in service sector, we find they offer some kind of services, okay. So in the production process we find some kind of services needed. Without those requirements we cannot see the production of goods, right? So where these are helping to produce any kind of good, such activities comes under service sector. So service sector is different from the rest of the two, that is agriculture sector and industrial sector. Understand? Look at here what is given. These are railways. Railways are providing services, transport. Here it is there banking, where people are depositing money and that one, okay. And here it is that entertainment, that is movies. Instead there also we see it is service. A doctor treating the patient, instead he is not producing anything. A doctor is providing services to the patients to what you call recover from the illness, right? So it comes under service sector. We people are teaching you, understand, we are not producing anything. We are giving our knowledge and the what you call it, knowledge which is in the textbook, and that is required to your bright future, understand. So we are giving services, so we comes under service activity instead. So service sector is different from the other things. Some of the occupations are given in the textbook, my dear students, okay. If you open the textbook, you will find one table showing occupation and classification, and asking you to point out all those economic activities into three sectors. For example, tailor, basket weaver, like these we find here instead. So where do these activities come? Whether they come in agriculture, industries and services, right? For example, if you take tailoring instead, where do we get it? Is a tailor stitches the water cloth, he what to call provides services. It comes under what? Service sector, okay. Where it comes? Service sector, understand. Then a flower cultivator is there, right? So nature's role is dominant, so it comes under what? Agriculture sector or primary sector, understand. Then milk vendor is there, that is milk seller, who is not producing milk, he is selling the milk produced from his cattle, understand. So he is providing service here, understand, right? So it comes what you call service sector, understand. Milk vendor in the sense he is selling the milk, understand. So that it is service, it comes under what? Is service sector, right? So in this way some of the occupations are given here, all that you have to fill. Okay, where do we find all these activities? It will help you to understand what are the activities under agriculture sector and industrial sector, then what to call service sector. Okay, so fill it remaining things instead, right? Potter is there. Potter we find in a which one? Agriculture sector. Astronaut is there. It is a space technology. So it is giving services, right? It is service sector. A worker, an employee in call center, they provide service to the what to call customers, so it comes under what is service sector. Money lender is there, who provides finance to the people who need of money, right? So it comes under what service sector. In this way you try to find out what are the economic activities. Okay, some of the uh, what to call activities of occupation given in the textbook. You can take some other occupations whichever you see around in your locality. Okay, so here moving to that, what you call, how is these three sectors understand. That means how much income is coming from these three sectors is very essential, and how much employment is there in these three sectors, it is very important. Okay, if you look at this table, you will find that workers in these three different sectors in two different periods. One is in 1972 to 73. It is one period. How is employment in 72 to 73, 1972 to 73, and what changes have come from 1972 to 73 to what to call 2009 to 2010, but in textbook it is 2017. Okay, 2017 to 2018. So if you look at this table, you find that a large scale of employment in agriculture sector, right? Which sector? Agriculture sector. And at that time in industries it is 11 percentage, and in services it is 15 percentage of employment is there. Moving to 2017 to 2018. Okay, which is updated one. Here it is 44 percentage of employment we find in agriculture, 25 percentage of employment we find in what to call industries, and 31 percentage of employment we find in services. So what do we see here? Still there is a dominant of agriculture in providing employment, but there is a slight improvement in the employment opportunities of industries and services instead. So what are the major changes we see in this table is still agriculture is dominant in providing the employment. Okay, that is a major observation we find here. And second thing is that employment opportunities have not increased much more in industries and services. Okay, there is a slight variation instead, so that still some more employment opportunities have to increase in services instead, so that it could reduce the burden of the agriculture. Here, there is a burden of providing employment opportunities in agriculture sector. Okay, where do we find maximum employment in three sectors? Agriculture. Okay, so why do we find much more employment in agriculture? It is employment opportunities are not much more in industries and services. Okay, so how can we come to know this? We will come to know by studying to the another table that I will reveal to you.